One, two, three.
Yo, it's storyteller. Holla at your boy. Yo, it's a storyteller. Holla at your boy. Today I got this young man right here.
How are you?
Introduce yourself.
Steve Emerson, finance manager at Auto House BMW, here to answer some questions about credit, about banking, and just how to have financial literacy. Before we get started, though, I do want to say I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not giving financial advice. Just trying to give you a little outline on how to navigate the financial world and educate yourself on some different financial terms.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you let the fans out there know. You know, what I do is for the youth, and I feel that a lot of youngsters out there, and also parents, don't know how to really explain to their kids how to invest and when to invest and things of that nature. And I believe in my heart that it's very important that they know that. So I'm trying to reach out to the children in that way as well, because they are the most important.
Absolutely.
So, but I got some questions, and just random questions I got from youngsters all over. I'm just going out to Walmart and everywhere, just getting questions pertaining to investing. So I have a few of them I'd like to, for you to answer if you
Absolutely,
can.
I will do my best.
Okay. Well, the first one is, how do I begin to start investing?
Well, and I thought about this. Before you start investing, you probably need to have 3, if not 4 things. The first is a checking account. You need a savings account, and then a brokerage account. The brokerage account is what's going to allow you to invest in the stock market and mutual funds. Before you get into the brokerage, if your employer offers a 401k, you probably want to max that out first and put as much money as you can in that before you start getting into the private sector. As far as a checking and a savings account, I usually recommend a credit union. Just make sure that they don't charge you anything. No fee checking, no fee savings account. And then a brokerage account. I personally like Vanguard, but do your research. I mean, it's whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's some good knowledge for the youngsters out there. I have another question that says, how much should I invest?
Well, really, it's whatever you're comfortable with. The younger you are, the more you should do. 10% of your income is a great number to start with. If you take 10% before anything, there's a rule to always pay yourself first. If you can save 10%, then when you get comfortable, you can start using that money to invest. Now, when you invest, just make sure you realize that money can go to zero. So any money you put out in the market, understand that it could go to zero. Now, if you do safer investments, chances are it's going to grow. But 10% is a pretty good number. My young daughter, when she babysits, we have a rule in the house. 50%. 50% goes into her savings account, which she then invests. 50% she can spend. So if you don't have any bills or obligations, obviously as much as you can, as young as you can. But it's really whatever's comfortable for your own personal financial situation.
So for me personally, one should invest if they can, or get their children into investing while they're young.
Absolutely.
Because the long run is going to benefit, right?
Absolutely. It's there's an adage. It's like, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago,
yes.
Or today?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and it's another question that I had that a gentleman was telling me about, and I really didn't know anything about it. It's called compound interest. Do you have any knowledge on that?
That's where time is on your side. So basically, you're just going to let your money work for itself. So in the first year, if you get 10% on $100, you made $110. After that, you're going to get another 10%, and that money, generally, if you're getting 10%, about 7 years, that money's going to double. So that's something where if you go to investing.gov, or I'm sorry, investor.gov, and that link Nathan will put in the bio, that will actually address that exact question.
Okay, so for that investment, it would be best to do it with the youngsters, because it'll pay out. Well, it's about long term.
Right?
The
longer you can be in there, the better. But yeah, it's here. If you start today, or you start as soon as you can, the more time in the market usually is going to yield better results.
Because I heard about that particular one. I heard if you put 1,000 in within a year, you get 800. Then the following year you get interest off of interest.
Correct. It is. I mean, to get $1,000 investment to make $800 is 800%. You're probably not going to get that. It'll probably be more like $80. But 80 to 100, depending on what you're involved in or what the market is doing. But yeah, compound interest. If you go to investor.gov, we'll explain kind of how that works. That's just simple math, really.
Okay. Yeah. Let's move on to the next question.
Absolutely.
Dan. It said, is it better to buy into a bigger company or a smaller company?
Size of the company doesn't. I mean, bigger companies usually have got more stability, but you want to look at a company that's making money. You want to look at a balance sheet. You want to make sure that if you're investing in a company, they are turning a profit. If they're not turning a profit, that's usually a little bit higher risk. That's where you can lose. I mean, you can lose money on a big company too. But you always want to look at a company that generally is making money. They're offering a dividend, which is basically paying you on your money, kind of like compound interest.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say it's not necessarily the size of the company, but it's how the company is ran.
Okay, thank you for that. I got another question that was asked by the youngster. It said, how many companies should I invest in at one time?
Well, again, it depends on your own personal risk. Some smarter people than me say that you shouldn't have more money. You shouldn't have more than like 20% of your portfolio tied up in any specific sector. So if you had, 5 companies at 20% each, that might be a safe way to go. And then you can kind of diversify yourself between like real estate, precious metals, and then stocks. So.
Okay, and my next question is how to tell the difference between a bad buy and a good buy.
If I had the answer to that question, usually what you want to look at is a company that is trading kind of below their normal average. You look at like 52-week lows. I mean, stocks they go up and down, and you obviously want to try to buy at the lowest possible point. Now, it always can go lower. So the thing is, you just want to continually invest. So if you find a company that you like, if you buy it today at 100 and then it goes to 110, you buy it again at 110, then you own that stock for 105. It's dollar cost averaging. So as long as you just continually buy into something that you believe in, you should be good. But again, consult your own professional financial advisor on that one.
Okay, thank you for that. And another question is, how can I invest as a minor?
So you need to have your parent or guardian set up a custodial account. Again, that can be done through Vanguard. I do it through for my own children. It's basically they have the same ability to trade stocks, but it has to go through the parent. The parent ultimately has custody over that account until the child becomes 18 and the age of the majority.
Okay, and this other question is, how much should I start investing?
That goes back to whatever you're comfortable with. Like I said, 10% is a good rule, but the more the better.
Oh, okay then. As day trending, available method of income?
Day trading.
Day trading?
Day trading is the short answer is no. Unless you are very skilled, unless this is your professional job, I would advise people to stay away from day trading. More people lose money day trading than they make money. So, again, that's personal risk. Personally, I'm not a fan of day trading.
Okay, so day trading is kind of...
It's risky. That is very high risk stuff.
Okay, man, I understand that. We got another one. Let's get to the next ones. How long would it take to make money back?
Again, it's time. If I had the answer to that one, if you can get lucky. There's an old saying, I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week. But
yeah.
The one thing, it's you just have to have time and patience. Invest in solid companies that have a strong balance sheet, and over time you will make your money back.
Okay, what about NFT?
NFT and Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
It's very new. I don't know a ton about this sector. I am like less than 10% of my portfolio is in Bitcoin. It's something that I look at NFTs. They are something. I just don't. No one really knows what they are right now. But that would be. That's not really investing. That is more gambling. So,
okay.
If you want to take a shot and use a very small percentage of your portfolio, Coinbase is what I use for that, but it's one of the things that
You're rolling the dice.
exactly. That's no different than betting football on Sunday.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Let's move on to the next question. It said, how should I get started on building my credit?
The earlier the better. With credit, you want to make sure as soon as you turn 18, get a credit card, go to your local bank, your local credit union. They may extend terms to you depending on the amount of money that you have in your checking or savings account. However, you can do a secured credit card, but they usually charge fees for that. Unfortunately, unless you have a cosigner or someone to kind of help jumpstart, that's one of the ways to get started with building credit. And then also, when you establish credit, make sure that you're carrying minimal balances and you're paying it off, every month if you can, or if carrying the minimum and just paying it off in a very short amount of time, because that's how the banks make their interest.
Okay, well, this other question is kind of leading on to what you just said last about the bank. It said, should I deal with a bank regarding my
I'd
money?
probably start with a local credit union. They're a little bit more consumer friendly, especially with people that are just getting started. Once you're more established and you have a more sizable account, the larger banks are more apt because they want the bigger fish. But I'm with First Community Credit Union. They do a great job. They don't charge me anything. They have an interest-bearing checking account, so even on my checking account, I'm getting interest. It's one of the things that you want to go with whatever you know, whatever you're comfortable with, and obviously what's not going to charge you any fees.
Well, these last three questions you pretty much answer anyway.
Okay.
And so we're going to skip over that one and the next one, and we're going to go down to her. It said about where do I start with investing.
So that actually is a great way to kind of end this. It's where we started again. Before you do anything, make sure you've got a checking account, make sure you've got a savings account, and then also a brokerage account. I would probably stay away from like the Robinhoods of the world. Go with a more established, like I said, Vanguard, and I'm not paid. I'm not getting anything for that, but that is who I use. So I try to walk the walk on that. But yeah, once you get a checking account, a savings account, if your job has a 401k, make sure that you're maximizing that, and then getting a brokerage account that you can set up where then you can start to make some trades.
Okay, I appreciate you coming on and doing this
Storyteller,
interview.
my pleasure.
Storyteller, holla at your boys, and to the youngsters out there, y'all need to take heed and pay attention to what he's saying, because this depends on your future and also your children's future as well.
Absolutely.
Because,
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna have him put my Twitter in the bio. That way, if you guys have any questions, you can tweet at me, you can follow me, and I'll do my best to answer that.
Yeah, we have all the information for you all, so y'all need to get in contact with him for anything, any advice, please feel free to do that.
Thank you.
One love, Storyteller. I'll let your boy.